And was it inspiration or perspiration, Paul? I mean, was this guy just naturally gifted like a Lionel Messi, or was it blood, sweat and tears? Was it application?
Oh, absolutely. A bit of both, I'm sure. You know, he was always first in. He was a great pro as a youngster. And then I think he had a little bit of a wobble. I think he enjoyed pizzas and he enjoyed a beer. Well, he always enjoyed a beer, Warne. But I think that's why every club cricketer around the world loved him as well so much, because they could all see a bit of themselves in him. But, you know, a guy that had his heart on his sleeve all the time. He played with a smile on his face. He's admired and loved from everyone around the world, from rock stars to, you know, Sachin Tendulkar's and, you know, from Piers Morgan's, all the names around the world. Mick Jagger's sent messages. You know, whenever you come across Warne, is the energy and the passion he has for life. He had that on the cricket field as well, and that's what made him an absolute legend.
Was he a difficult personality in any ways, being such a serial killer? Was there a monstrous ego to deal with, Paul?
Yeah, I think that's what makes the very best sometimes the very best. I think there've never been a dull moment in the Australian dressing room, I'm sure. You sometimes see a lot of pictures of Warne with a different top on to the rest of the team. But actually, when they stepped over the line, they knew he was going to produce. And he produced day in, day out for 15 years of international cricket. And, you know, that's hard work, mentally tiring. We saw the ball of the century. Here we go, the Mike Gatting delivery. You know, Mike Gatting was a world-class player of spin at the time, and that was Warne's very first ball at Old Trafford. And it was like, wow. You know, the drift he got, the spin, the dip, the turn and bounce was quite literally unplayable. And that's why English batsmen went to bed at night absolutely petrified about him putting him on the back page of a newspaper when Warne's probably on the back page, on the front page himself.
Yes, I mean, that technique, is that something that can be learned in the practice sort of field, or is that, again, sort of a stroke of genius?
Everybody wants to try and master it and practice it, but very few do. And to Warne to do it that well, that consistently, really is mind-blowing. You know, Test match cricket especially is a bit more of a batsman's game. Over 5 days, the pitch starts very green and it nibbles around for the faster bowlers. And then as the pitch dries out, then the spinners come into the game. And Shane just made that immediate impact. He grabbed everybody's attention straight away, and he never looked back. And you know, he lived his life. He loved to party, and it was so sad as well that, you know, one of his last Twitter messages was to the great Rod Marsh, an unbelievable wicketkeeper, a young hero of mine as a boy, always wanting to play in the Ashes, as every young cricketer does. He wants to play in the Ashes, wants to play against the mighty four of Australia. Rod Marsh, their wicketkeeper, sadly passed away as well. And Warne's last tweet was actually saying how sad he was to hear about the passing of Rod Marsh.
About that, Paul. Also, let's be honest, I mean, he was a great-looking guy, very tanned. And let's talk about that hair. I mean, Shane Warne was showbiz, wasn't he? He was a guy that transcended the sport. He dated Liz Hurley. He was a celebrity.
Yeah, Warne was a rock star. You know, I can't remember the band he played with now. But he played on stage with one of the world-class bands. You know, he's lived a really full life, and you know, he's had no regrets. He's lived it, you know, his heart on his sleeve, as I say, and he's just been incredible. But he was a humble guy. You know, he had time for people. That's why everybody loved him. But there'll be some great stories flying around that come out over the next few days. It's incredible. We always think of Shane Warne with a smile, and it's a tragedy that's happened. It's so sad. Warne would always want us to remember him with affection, and the stories and the smiles and the beers that we shared together. You know, he was the hardest player on the field. As soon as he walked off it, he invited you into the dressing room, and he was a very, you know, giving guy of his time, his energy, and his knowledge.
That's wonderful.